Okay, let's look at the terraces, the Hugelkultur terraces. Um, so some things are going really well. Most things are going really well, actually. So my Tulsi that I overwintered, none of my seeds this year have germinated, so maybe they're too old. But I did have the one plant that's going off, and a volunteer down the road, and some dill that I was hoping to get going, and I guess it's getting shaded out too much. Red pepper growing up amidst a volunteer, I believe butternut squash. We will see. Pretty sure it's volunteer. I don't think I put that there. Same thing. Dill is something I just have had trouble getting going this year, so I started a whole bunch of it and I'm sticking it everywhere and, trying. That's an Anastasia baby, I believe, from the one across the way out of the pot. Minnesota midget's getting a start. Queen lime zinnia about to bust out. Chives. That's probably a volunteer apple plant on the bottom there. And then I have a whole mess of tomatoes here, and I believe these for the most part are cherry tomatoes, black cherries. I have some that are turning color. These, the big boys here, all Brussels sprouts. Unless you want to see Long Island improved. And these are red Brussels sprout. I do have onions all in between, and some are bulbing up, and I'm just kind of letting them do what they're doing. Carrots went directly to seed, I guess because it was so hot this year, the few that I have that actually germinated. So again, I'm letting them kind of do what they feel here. Some black strawberry tomatoes. I think that's probably the closest I've had to ripe so far. I don't know, maybe what those have today, but these are very cool looking little tomatoes. Queen lime zinnia, this is tried to keep all my tomatoes straight, but that's clearly aroma that snuck into maybe the black cherries or green zebras, don't know how. There's black cherry starting to turn color there. And this Brussels sprout has leaned way out into the aisle. It's kind of a menace. I probably need to pin it back, get it a stake. I probably should have done that a long time ago. Look at this part before I hold it back. That is a Minnesota midget. That's actually the only one that I'd put out that's lived, and it's starting to flower. There's a beet in there. Red pepper. Got a sunflower. Some opal basil. So you see, like, I'm making use of every square inch here, and things seem to be okay. They're growing slowly, but they're growing. These are cauliflowers. Onions down there. Pepper I just replaced, just squished one out there a little bit ago. These are purple peppers all down here. And most of the cauliflowers, like that one looks a little dinky. That one's a little dinky, but then those boys are nice and big. I haven't put anything on them. I think I've sprayed them with BT once this year, and they really look fine until very recently. Purple peppers. Oh, there's no volunteer. I believe Tulsi coming around the ground. There's a volunteer spaghetti squash. Just kind of let that be. It's already got a fruit on it, which is cool. I think it's just the one. Yeah, it's got some little babies in there. Which these are, they take up a lot of space, but I figured, it'll keep the ground covered. That I think, let's see, this is a black crim. So pretty tomatoes, and it seems pretty prolific. I'll show you the ones on the other end in a minute. A little whirligig keeps falling down. And these Brussels sprouts, you see, are quite tall. I'm thinking about cutting more of the side foliage off. Don't seem to be getting to the point where they're actually making Brussels just yet, but they seem real healthy and happy. But I have been cutting off the lower leaves here and there to make way for some light and air around the tomatoes. Let's see, there's something happening there. The ones at this end are less happy, probably because they're sharing space with these giants. here, but they're still growing. They don't seem to have any signs of disease. Kind of flowers. Same back here. That looks like maybe another creme. Mullein that I just let happen. Let's see, back at this side. Collies, peppers in between. And the theory was that the collies would have been done by now, and the peppers would have time, but they're still, they're still growing up. I think it's okay. Volunteer watermelon that I also have let be. It seems to be going, and I think that's probably a Charleston gray. I know some of these plants end up being huge, and so I'll probably regret my decisions. I could always snip them back. Another volunteer, possibly butternut. Butternut seems to be the thing that we get the volunteers most on. No babies yet. So I'm guessing that's it. Oh, and I do have a chard hiding out under there too. Some of these guys, these were in the walkway there, so I moved them here. So I'll include that in the terrace shot. And we'll come back and talk about the trees in a minute. Here is Terrace 3. These are all sort of the bigger tomatoes on the stakes here. These are indeterminate. And either creme, which are black creme, or green zebra. And I believe the cremes are on this end and the zebras on the other. But they're starting to size up real nicely. They're pretty prolific as far as putting on fruit. You can see in between, like everywhere else, I have all kinds of plants stuffed in there. The beans, I thought they'd grow fast enough to like sort of find their place, and they really didn't. They're all kind of sad looking. These are burgundy. There's another royal burgundy. So they haven't been putting on many beans. I probably just need to pop some new seeds in the ground and see if they'll go. Because these plants are kind of sad. The tomatoes, though, pretty large, getting happy. This little guy here, I'm not entirely sure if these are my green zebras. They look kind of different from the other ones that I had last year, but we shall see. Another one that looks like a Roma hiding in almost my other ones, but this monstrosity, I'm assuming, was like a sort of triple bloom that grew together or something like that. I probably should just take the whole thing off. If I was smart, I'm sure that's what I would do, but of course I'm just curious to see what happens with it. And these are dragon tongue bush beans that have been doing okay despite looking pretty sad. I just put this out yesterday and it's getting eaten. I probably need to do something else for it. That's a lemon drop watermelon. It's a smaller melon. Some more onions that are kind of attempting to bulb, but also really sad. One day I'll get the onion thing. Some of those crops, everybody's like, oh, it's so easy, and I'm like, not for me. Roselle is good. Once again, the borage grew a lot faster than Roselle. I thought the Roselle would shoot up faster than that, but borage is kind of bullying it, so I don't know how long I'll let it be there. And this is, let's see, can I read my own writing? Watermelon. I think that says lemons. I think that's a lemon drop too. So those, again, little small, like personal size melons that are yellow. I'm curious to see those, how they turn out. My one happy artichoke, as well as a volunteer peach tree, another thing I probably should take out, but I haven't yet. To show you all of my tomato forest, and the aromas are just starting to put on color after just holding out for weeks and weeks, I guess because of the heat. Another volunteer squash, not sure which one yet. Bug. It looks real healthy. Anything that looks happy, I'm just going to let it grow and see what it does. I'll let it have its space. Borage is good. I probably need to dig up the garlic when it's a little bit warmer. You'll see my tomato plants. I have these sturdier tomato cages and they're holding up great. And then these little dinky ones that I probably got for $2 or $3, and they have fallen over and I have to stake them, and the plants are falling out of them because they fell over. I'm just a mess. So I think I learned my lesson on whether or not you invest in the $8 tomato cage or the $3 tomato cage. But you know, you do with what you have one way or the other, which is what I'm doing. Cabbages look like they're still coming along. The little pumpkin started behind them. Just because, you know, I'm really pushing the boundaries. I'm trying to make sure everything stays watered and fed this year to try and make things happen. Queen lime zinnia that's been out here forever, not blooming like its compatriots up there that have been in the greenhouse up until like last week. Another pumpkin basil that I overwintered that is hanging on but not super happy. And then I think I'll call it there and I'll come back and talk about the tree.